but it won't be long before I realize it's a picture in my head, and I know they're just fragments of a world where your absence all I get to see. Take me back to the planet where you and I are still meant to be. 'Cause I'm incomplete when you ain't by my side, when you don't wake up next to me. Yeah, I'm incomplete. I need you here tonight to cover up these empty sheets. 'Cause I'm incomplete. 'Cause I'm incomplete.
All right. Let's get this going. If you're in the chat, just give me a quick, hey, what's up? Just so I know it's working, and then we'll get rolling. Turn that all the way up. Make sure you guys can actually hear me. There we go. And I think we're good. Maybe. So, what time is it? It's exactly 9. I'll probably wait another minute, but I'm going to cover a few things before we jump into everything. But if you haven't seen it yet, I just put out a new tutorial on my page and Brograph for CryptoMat, and I'm going to be talking about that and going through it a little bit more because I went through it pretty fast. Plus, I've learned a little bit more since releasing it. Let me just go to my channel really quick. You guys can see that. So yeah, right in here, you guys can see I go over using it in Fusion and After Effects, and I've learned a couple different things in After Effects too, so we can go into After Effects if you guys want, or Fusion. I can show you how to do both. But really, it's going to be like a normal Redshift Thursday, and we'll just do questions and Q&A. Still not seeing anything in the chat, so I'm just going to restream and see, make sure I'm not missing anything. It says 2 viewers. All right. A few other ones. So, all right, whatever. If you guys are there, then you're there. Make sure I'm logged into the right one. It's really quick. Dude. Right profile. Yep. Cool. What's up, Jake? All right, so there's somebody in the chat. Cool. Just making sure that there's actually chat working. So before we jump into CryptoMat and all that, as much as I do tutorials, Rich Nosworthy has just put out a new tutorial on HelloLux, so hellolux.com, and it is Learn Redshift for Cinema 4D Volume 1, and he covers a bunch of stuff, and it looks really good, and I'm even considering buying it myself. It just looks great, so I'm going to play through that for you guys too, if you guys are looking for more training than just what I do. I think there's some audio. There we go. Team WNJ, what's up? Watching from uni, that's cool. HP, what's up? Raiden, what's up, man? So this is Rich's new series, if you guys are just joining, showing the trailer over at HelloLux. It looks awesome. And it's only 80 bucks. It's like super worth it and affordable. He's even got a free little wood shader presentation that he's giving away, just so you can get a sample of what the lessons are like, but it covers everything from just like introduction, so like what are the menus and the tags, all the way down to building shaders and materials using multiple subsurface scattering, and then going through glass, LUTs, depth of field, and and all the way down here, shattering this sphere logo and how we set that up and all the materials in that. So it just looks really awesome. I'm not paid by HelloLux to talk about this. This just looks awesome to me, so I just want to share it with you guys. So let's jump into something. Let's talk about Redshift and CryptoMat. I'm going to open up the project from the other day and just break it down a little bit. I believe it's this one. Yeah, cool. All right, so I'm just going to turn off my bucket rendering. So you'll see in here we've got a drone here, and then I've got these proxies set up. If I twirl this, just that drone, and then drone 2 is a proxy. Drone 3 is a proxy right there. It's just being driven by signal from GSG, just kind of floating around there. And setting up CryptoMat is pretty straightforward. It's like any other AOV. Typical school Wi-Fi lagging behind by like 5 minutes. That's okay. I'm lagging behind by a few minutes too. So setting up a CryptoMat is really just like setting up any other AOV. But before I get into that, if you don't know what CryptoMat is, you can go to PsyOps CryptoMat page. So let me just do CryptoMat right there and read all about it. And there's one for Fusion and Nuke right at the top. But if you scroll down, you'll see all the encoders that do it. So Arnold, Arnold 5, Redshift, RenderMan, Cycles, Houdini, and then decoders, meaning the like compositors that can read it: Nuke, Fusion, Houdini, Blender Compositor, Flame, and then After Effects, which has a separate download down here. And then there's documentation for Nuke and Fusion here. And let me just click on this so you can see what an image looks like. So what normally happens, well, let me blow this up. Nope. All right. So what normally happens when you get a pass is you kind of just get one mat right here. And CryptoMat allows you to get all the objects in your scene at once in one file instead of doing a bunch of different passes. So each of these colors represents another object in here. So the bunny's green here because it's been selected, but like these little different variations of blue and like dark purples and things like that, those are all different selectable objects in this scene. So you don't have to have 400 passes just to get through a scene. So it's really nice. So in this scene, it would give us 3. And if I come into my AOV manager, I'll have CryptoMat right at the top here. It's pretty straightforward. You can choose a few different things. Mesh ID. So Mesh ID will give you every single mesh. Let's see. So drone here, if this was broken out into all of its individual parts before being merged down, so like the propellers and things like that, then that individual propeller would come in, and this antenna would come in, and this turret down here would come in. And you could select each one individually. For material ID, you can probably guess it's based off the materials. So I would get 1 for drone and 1 for glass, which I have a glass material down here on the floor. Object ID, so anytime I put an object on something, it would get it. So I have an object ID on each of these drones here. And down here is user attribute. If you do any custom user attributes, then you can do that through CryptoMat as well, which is pretty handy if you have a bunch of custom attributes. So to preview AOVs, usually you just turn on bucket rendering. Give this a second to catch up. It will render. It's pretty quick there. CryptoMat, and it comes in black here. It's definitely working. You just have to render it out. You can't really preview it in here. And even if you go into your options, why is that hiding? I wonder if that's like a new bug for 2.619. Okay, there we go. And you come over here. You can see CryptoMat's in there, but it's not doing anything like the rest of them. Don't be worried about that. It definitely works and comes out. But if you've never worked with AOVs and multipass before, I'll just render this really quick, and here's like a depth pass and diffuse lighting and emission and just different lighting passes, motion vectors if you want to do motion blur, reflections, and then normal beauty. So why don't I just open up Fusion and go in there and show you guys how this works. It's probably the easiest way to do this. I'll bring up my pass from that. Turn off this so it's not rendering in the background. By the way, if you guys have any questions throughout, shoot them in the chat if this is your first time joining. Just doesn't matter if it's about CryptoMat or not. I'll come back and start answering questions too. Or if it's something that I can answer right away, then I'll do that as well. Let's see if I have that. There we go. I already have it saved. So this is Fusion. And there's my CryptoMat pass right in there. It's trying to play back at the moment. There we go. And there's my base. So I'm not going to walk through everything that I've got set up here. Basically, I was just kind of messing around and playing with like focusing and motion blur and lots of different things. But what you will essentially do is get your base pass here, and then you'll have a CryptoMat pass. And if I bring in a CryptoMat node right here, you can just do that by doing like Shift spacebar and search for CryptoMat if you have it installed from the GitHub page. You'll see this blue thing pop up, and you will get a crosshair which allows you to add and remove objects. So if I just clear this out and do a quick add, you'll see object ID number 1 there. But let's say I don't want object ID number 1. I want these back here. You'll see that the adjustments I've made later on automatically update and go to these two, because these are both under object ID 2. And if I were to select the floor and clear this out and add the floor, this gets some adjustments down there too based on the color correction that I've done. So it makes it really fast and simple, easy to make mats. So I'll come over here, select this again. You can even just see the mat by itself if you want. By itself, come on, might be being a little bit slow. Oh, because I wasn't actually on it, my bad. Put this one over there, put this back here. So you can just get the mat like that, and then you can start masking it and doing it through all these different nodes and however you want to do it. So it makes it super fast, easy. It seems like they're a lot cleaner too. So you don't have to do a lot of like blurring and dealing with like grain and things like that. It's just super clean. So question, let's see, is Fusion free? Fusion is free. This is the paid version. The only difference is you can render out beyond 1080p, I guess. And it does VR. So if you work in VR, you can use it with like a Rift. What else? I think there's stitching capability built into it, more along like 360 video and VR. But yeah, free, you can do 90% of things, and it's totally worth it. And the advantage of using it is it's really built for this. So I've never used Natron, nor really heard of it. I'll have to Google that. Is it Natron? Huh. It says it's free, open source. Huh. It looks very similar. Node-based, open source. So does it use OFX? Yeah, OFX. So that's what Fusion uses too. I guess the benefit over Natron is that Fusion has a team behind it, and it's not just open source. But it does use the OpenFX architecture, which is really nice. There's a bunch of free stuff for it that you can just download. But it looks very similar to this. The other nice thing is that there's a 3D engine built right into this, so if you need to composite something really quick, you can do it right in here. You don't necessarily have to go into Redshift and render it out. It's really slow, but it's possible. What else? It can handle 32-bit unlike After Effects, so all these right here are either 32 or 16-bit float. Or sorry, 32-bit float or 16-bit half float. And what that means is just they hold a lot more data than normal 8-bit files or 16-bit files. If you're working in float, you can really adjust things and make things color correct very easily. So let me just make an adjustment here. If I move this even just a little bit, you're seeing like 0.017, and it makes a pretty big difference. So it's got much wider color ranges and data to work with. So it's better at handling stuff like that than After Effects. And if I were to load up this whole sequence into After Effects, it would probably just chug. The other thing too is that it's kind of non-destructible. Yeah, well, Nuke is like something like 10 grand or something, so people are not going to be using Nuke most of the time. What else was I going to say? The other nice thing is it's node-based, so it's pretty non-destructible. So when I make a change somewhere, I can just pull it out or put it back in, and I don't have to worry about layers and compositing and going like so many composites deep into something. What you do in After Effects, that kind of sucks a little bit sometimes, especially for like heavy workflows like this. And you can have like a standardization, so once you apply something, say here, you can bake it into a tool or a script and use it over and over again. And you can do that in After Effects too, but it's not to like the same level. It's a lot, I don't know, I find it a lot easier to get things done in here. But I can open up After Effects and show you. It's kind of a similar workflow. I'm not going to do it 100% right because I just don't use After Effects for 3D compositing anymore. I do mostly everything in Fusion now. But I know most people are probably using After Effects, so we'll just do this. Yep, I know, suitcase, blah, blah, blah. And once the project thing comes up, cool. So let me just find that. I can import this. So somebody was telling me that I have to run a script to do this properly. I'm gonna try and see what they're talking about. I should go back to my comment on YouTube and see. Scale composition. Oh, here we go. Create Pro EXR layer comps. So I guess that's what you're supposed to do to get it to work properly. I didn't do that in my tutorial. I just put the EXR. What am I looking for? EXR effect and the Cryptomat effect onto my comp. And it seemed to work. I just couldn't get it to work exactly the way I thought. So maybe it'll be in this one. Yeah, okay. So you see we get these colors just like we did before. And then if I come into effects and controls, should be, no, not there. Contact sheet. These are the source ones. See, this is why I did it my way before, because it makes it all weird. This isn't right either. All right, I'm just gonna go back into the comp that I was in before, and we'll say that's weird that RGBA is above that, and nothing's showing for that. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna do it my way. Sorry, I forget who commented on it that I was doing it the wrong way. but it seems like it doesn't like this way either. So I'm just gonna go ahead and import this, but not as a sequence, and see if that helps. It's because this is Cryptomat, and that's why everything's getting screwed up. Okay. I need just the non-AOV pass. Here we go. Import. Like so. Now we can see that. And then I'll bring in Cryptomat as well. Like so. So what you're going to do is go into Effect, 3D Channel, and then Cryptomat. And we'll get our colors right there. And what you can do, I learned this and I did it wrong in the video apparently, so you can just click in here to get this, or you can shift click to add multiple ones. So I did that wrong before, but kind of straightforward, and just like we saw in Fusion, you can now use it as a matte. So now we just have that one isolated, and then we can start making our adjustments however we need to. And it makes it pretty straightforward. So that's that. I mean, so the advantage is like, this is just like one layer, and then you have to duplicate all this again to make another pass, and then duplicate it again to get the other pass out of here. So if you have a bunch of passes and you start working with a ton of layers, it's not so modular. So what I was saying before is like, I have this base right here, and then I have one Cryptomat here, and then I don't actually have to break this out into another Cryptomat. I can plug this into another Cryptomat node right here, and for this one I want object 2, so there's object 1, object 2. It makes it really easy. And then over here you'll see I've been messing with the lighting for just these two, and then a little bit of color correction, and then I merge these in. And if I need to update something, I can just pull this out if I need to. So pull that out and just works its way down the line. So it's non-destructive. So if I need to make a change, a lot of times in After Effects, I have to like delete the layer, or I can turn it off, but it still keeps it heavy. One of the good things about Fusion 2 is that if you pull something out, it doesn't read it whatsoever. It really only reads what's in here. It doesn't take up extra data. So if I put this back in, it automatically just updates like that, super quick. The other thing that you can do too is you can start doing background render. So if I turn this on, you'll see down here it starts calculating everything. You can see these little dots start to move. So I don't make changes, it will just keep calculating stuff and moving through the scene. And so that way, upon final render, if I hit render here, about half of this will be cached. It's really fast about doing it. It depends on how big of the files you're working on. You can't do that in AE. So if you're working and you want to render, you just start from the beginning. The other nice thing too is when it caches, it knows when you make a change, so it won't recache everything back up the stream. So if I make a change, say to this merge right here, and I pull it out, everything that's back here will stay cached, and it only has to cache everything from here forward. So that's another nice thing, is it just keeps working and trying while while After Effects won't. So really a lot of nice things. All right, so I guess what was the other thing I was going to show you guys? Gobos. Someone earlier today in Slack asked about how to make gobos, so I went over that. So if you guys don't know what a gobo is, it's like the Batman signal, where it cuts it out and makes a light into a shape. So let's go ahead and do that, because it's not very straightforward, and especially with newer Redshift updates, they've made it a lot better for lights. So just a normal plane in here. Probably just gonna go get my clay, something like this, throw that on there, and let's get an area light. So for this light, I'm gonna move it here and rotate it down a little bit, bring it up here like so, and that's probably good. Let's just hit play, turn off bucket. So pretty decent right there. You can see we've got like this ceramic tile right there, and we'll select this. So right in here in this texture, it'll read black and white images. So I've got one here, this little lion Gobo setup, but I made another one with my logo. Here we go, we'll use this. So as long as it's black and white, it will try and read it just through the white areas. And you can see right now, nothing's really happened. It kind of just looks the same. And that's because down here we've got this spread, so right now it's really spreading out the light. If you slide this down, it starts to focus the light and narrow it down. And so there you can see that it's got my logo, except it's backwards, so I need to flip that. Well, that's silly. I wonder if I can do it with just a quick light physical. Throw that in there. Bring this up. Is music still playing for you guys in the background? I just realized I hear like a light thing playing from somewhere. Sorry guys. I don't know where that's coming from, but hopefully it's off now. And then click on this and steal. Guess I won't steal the texture out of there. Texture. Like so, and then I think mirror U. No. Mirror V. -1. There we go. So that looks about right. Now, if I come back in here, will it still let me adjust? Yeah, it still lets you adjust the spread in here. And then, if you want to make it kind of Batman-like, we'll just throw that in there. Come into our volume and crank up the contributions. So now we've kind of got this Batman look. You can rotate it. The music is actually nice. I wonder, where's the music coming from? Oh, I guess my Spotify was still playing. All right, I can turn the music up a little bit, since you like that. Yeah, 531, that's my company. And I started off as a 2D motion designer. Actually, I started off as a graphic designer, like in 2004. And around 2008, I went back to college because the economy in the US started to crash, and I guess around the world. So, when I went back to college, I found a motion design course and took that and fell in love with it. So I started off as like 2D animation, and then I worked for Discovery Channel, and I started learning Cinema 4D there, and the rest is kind of history. I just went into it. What's up, Lance? So I guess since about 2012 I've been doing motion design, and started learning Cinema 4D in about 2013, I guess 13. So what is that? 5 years now I've been kind of messing around with cinema, and in the last like 2 years I've really switched over to like 3D work. That's pretty much all I do now. I do a little bit of 2D here and there, but if you go to my site, you'll see my reel, and I have mostly 3D with like sprinklings of 2D still in there. But so yeah, this is pretty much how you would set up a gobo, and if you want to make like drastic, cool looking volumetric lights, this is how you'd go through that too. I'm gonna take this texture off. I don't know, I kind of like how powerful it is in here, but I don't need that much intensity, so let's do like 1, maybe 8, something like that. Maybe I can change the color. Well, no, it's all based on the other stuff. Wonder if this affects anything. Just experimenting, because I don't usually use textures in here. I just throw a texture in there. So it's kind of interesting to have all this extra stuff available. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, throw them up in the chat. I usually do this until about 10 o'clock Eastern, so you got about a half hour left. But that's kind of it for me of like cool stuff I was going to show that I learned this week. It's like reverse God rays kind of, but yeah, I mean, Jake, I have a whole God rays tutorial that I did and how they're created. But yeah, it's kind of like that a little bit. But this is essentially how God rays are made. Usually there's like trees and stuff blocking, so if I bring in tree, let's get a crappy tree. Nature, low poly tree, FBX. Let's do that. Scale. Take this off and take that off. Let's throw this guy in a cloner. And man, I cannot wait for R20 to come out with all the new fall off stuff. Do random. Going to put this in a circle. Okay, spread this out a little bit. Then don't need that offsetting on Y. Maybe a little bit on these. Guess Y, because of the rotation of the trees. It's actually that. Uniform scale. Kind of have these do that. All right. So yeah, God rays are usually like the blocking of light. So I guess I need to make these bigger. So the way I did it in the tutorial is that I had a bunch of grids up at the top with light coming through. Then if I scale this down, you need like a smaller kind of light source. And then I come in here and I'll just bring the spread back up. Maybe I'll bring it down a little bit. You can see that if you have something like that, you start to get these God rays. And you can narrow it in a little bit more. Then if you sharpen this up, definitely helps. A video background in Redshift. I mean, you wouldn't really bring a video background into Redshift. mean, most VFX workflows you're working in a compositor, so like Fusion or Nuke. Did I see my question from earlier? I did not, Billy. I don't think the chat was loading, so if it was in here, let me scroll back to the top. I don't see it in Slack. So yeah, what was your question, Billy? But like, I guess what do you mean for like a VFX workflow? Because for me, I'm usually laying out a scene in here and then compositing stuff in Fusion or After Effects and not bringing footage into Cinema 4D. The only time I need to do that is if I'm doing like tracking, and that's not going to have anything to do with Redshift or any third-party renderer. That's going to be all done with the motion tracking software inside Cinema. You want to learn about Bitcoins? You missed that, Billy. I'm sorry. You already missed the crypto talk, but I can go back through it, dude. If you want to learn about crypto, I will gladly go through it for you. We're just talking about God rays, because everyone likes God rays. But yeah, I don't know. Like, from what I've done with a little bit of video, like if I need to have a billboard with some video on it, then no, it's pretty straightforward. You bring in a sequence just like you would with anything else, and then it shows up just like I was doing with my logo here and projecting it. It would be the same thing, but a sequence of images. Nah, it's okay. Billy, did you ever get your X particles thing working? Because that seems like a pain in the butt. Especially since I have trees right now, I could probably just mess with that. Check this out. Pause. Oh, there's something else I could go over to. So if I was going to track something in Cinema 4D, then it would be the same workflow. And if you need to see something, like, I guess it depends on how you're doing your background, because when I do a background, I usually will use a plane, and then I'll set the plane to like 1920 by 1080, and I think I have that backwards. Nope, I got that right. And then I'll put a material on here. Wound up regenerating the force assets that were being problematic by retaining that user. Correct. Oh, I guess maybe that's the same problem you were having with set initial earlier too, like where you're saying it when your render stopped, your cache cleared out or whatever. Is that the same thing? But what I was gonna say is I would set up a camera and let's say, come on, click on that. There we go. Zero this out and zero this out. Do like negative 1920. So now we've got this wall in front of us, and let me just choose a trio, because I've done this with clients where I've had to bring stuff in. Put that on there, and that still shows gray because I need to change it. But put this here, and then you pretty much have your setup like that. Oh, cool. Okay, I'll have to go check that out in Slack. So what I would do then, like if I have all my tracking done, I could just bring the footage in here and it will play. Let me see if I can find some footage. I can probably just put my tutorial on here. So, do texture. You'll see in the texture here, there's a spot for animation. Tutorials. Plug this in here to diffuse. And I'm upside down. There we go. And then in animation, just do simple, detect frames. Oh, it's probably not going to do it because it's not a sequence. So definitely use a sequence, even though I put an MP4 in here. You're right, it's not going to play properly. Yeah, you'll get this thing here. So it's definitely got to be a sequence. That's my bad. Wonder if I have a sequence. Yeah, do this here. You can see that's coming in now. Take that off. It shouldn't be red anymore. Why is that still red? Doesn't make sense. Okay, whatever. Animation, detect frames. There we go. So, you'll see as I scrub through, maybe, there we go. It's taking a second. Loads right there. But, oh, I don't have any more animation than 29, so these first few frames in here. I mean, you're not gonna get exactly real-time playback, but it's definitely enough to track something in and then render it out. So I hope that answers your question. If you're putting it on the background, so like if you're using, where is it? Like a sky or background, Redshift isn't going to read that. It doesn't read like floors and skies and background and stuff like that. Interested to know why this is coming in red. Oh, it's probably, I know why. Because it's an EXR and I have a bunch of different channels in there. Delete the texture, there we go. Alright, let me scroll back up. Now that Billy said there were questions that I missed, if you were watching, let me know, and I'll go back and answer your question. So, but otherwise, kind of out of things to show you guys. Gone through it all. Oh no, what was the other thing? Actually, this happened to me right before I started putting in the trees. There's some, displacement. So I was working through a displacement problem earlier this week, and with my buddy Wit, I wanted to go through that because it was interesting having to solve it. So in Octane, this is kind of a benefit that Octane has. You don't actually have to add more segments to a plane or something usually. You don't think the Brograph chat is syncing into your my restream? Oh man, let me see. It says, I think you're right, because in here it says read no reply, but alright, where is this? There we go. Go to YouTube and check that out. Sorry, everybody that's watching on the Brograph side. Oh man, no, it is. Except I'm missing a couple. It was syncing, and now it's, I guess, not, because I see JJ says oh, and Kwong says hi. Hi, Kwong. Sorry I missed that. But I see from earlier HP and Braden in there, which I got, right? Yeah. I got yours from, did you see, or did I miss the part about cryptocurrency? And I don't know if that was at the same time. Alright, I'm going to keep both up at the same time then, because that's really obnoxious. Alright, so let's talk about displacement, because this was interesting. Somebody came to me and had been working in Octane, but they want to switch to Redshift, and they couldn't get their displacement to look proper. And I've done a displacement tutorial, but it was just interesting to me that you had to add so many more segments, even with a Redshift object tag. So let me go ahead and get this displacement thing. Texture and desktop. There we go. So this is just from JS displacement. Nothing super fancy. And I need displacement. So first off, you want to make sure you enable gamma override. The other thing I like to do is under advanced, do like -8 on the MIP, because that gives you more detail. Come in here, texture map, and then we'll throw this on displacement. So if I hit play right now, we're not going to get any displacement. It's just not how Redshift works. You need a Redshift object tag and to go into geometry, override, and then turn on your displacement. Now, the thing that happens here is it's not showing up for one, which it should by now, is if it was showing up, let me just see if it's getting really light in there. Why is that not showing up? Come on. Displacement. Alright, I'm just going to do this to about 150 by 150, see if that helps. Oh man, I hope this isn't a bug with... .8, 1.6 or 1.9. Oh, really? So that's what I was going to talk about. Is I noticed that this week too, except my displacement is just not working now. Like, what the hell is this? Let's try 50. Refresh the IPR. Even this isn't going now. Alright, I'm gonna start a new scene. Let's just do a sphere this time. It'll be the same thing. So material. Oh, you know, did I... Yeah, no, I don't have the material on there. God, I am dumb sometimes. There we go. Woo! Billy, you're supposed to catch those things. You're supposed to catch when I'm being stupid. Alright, so I definitely don't want red. I just want, like... gray. So you'll see, like, it's displacing, but it's pretty damn ugly. So one thing that you need to do is you need to make sure you're remapping your textures in the displacement. Normal PNGs don't do that, so you need to do -1. So that should help with some of the stuff in here. Not exactly, but you need to make sure you have enough tessellation. So that means just divisions. So normally you can just do that in here with like a like normal catenal loop, but you can still see it's kind of dirty, and I'm gonna just put in a sun and sky really quick just so we can get some more details in here. And you'll see we've got details, but it's still like kind of wonky and jagged. And this is what Billies are saying in the chat is, I just want like early morning sun. Come on. Do negative 45. There we go, something like that. Is that the subdivisions on the plane actually do impact this? So I was finding that I was having to go to like 500 by 500 to get detail on things, which kind of sucks. Like when you have so much control over tessellation right in here, it should just do it. So I think it maxes out at 16. So if I do 16, you'll see you get a little bit more detail in there, but if I go back down to 50 by 50, it doesn't keep it, and you would expect that. Just to test out this theory, I want to try it on here as well. Is it just like an issue with planes, Billy? Is that what you know? Did you notice that? Does it work? No, still missing detail in here. Like these circles in here are actually supposed to be circles. Yeah, see that? Yeah, that's what I've been finding too. So that kind of sucks. I wish they should update this so that way we can have more than 16. Because if I do 32, it doesn't let me. I wonder what is out of frustrum tessellation subdivs. 16? That doesn't do anything. Okay. So in here, I guess I'll have to do 500 again and see if these circles come out. Sort of. Not really. But it's so much slower. Like it really does make the scenes heavy. If I turn off tessellation. Whoa, that like really changed everything. Oh, okay. So is that supposed to make it faster? So we'll just say 4. So that way everything on the backside does that. Man, it does not need to render perfect. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. 1500, 1,000 segments. You can't do more than 1,000 segments on a sphere. Okay. That's stupid too. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and just scale this down. Maybe I'm pushing it too high up. So that's looking okay-ish. Man, it like really slows down the scene. So, yeah, if you need to displace things, be prepared. I guess turn off auto bump mapping, see if that helps at all. Do you know what this new reference thing is? Is that what we were talking about earlier with the stick or whatever? Yeah, if I turn off bump mapping, that does not help. I guess maybe if I had a normal map that would help fill in some of these details, but I can't believe I'm at 1,000 for this thing. Like for this, I think I'm at 500 and it looks okay. But now I want to find those circles because those circles are really supposed to come out a bit. Yeah, there are those circles. I guess they show up alright. Kind of. You can still tell they need way more subdivision. I noticed too that scale mattered. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I was noticing too, oh man, I might have crashed this. Oh, there we go. I noticed too that, what was I gonna say? Christ, getting sidetracked. Scale. So like the scale of the plane really matters a lot. Even though this is an 8K file, if I scale this down to say 50 by 50, if it will let me. No, this map is from a free program called JS Displace, which is pretty cool. If I have crashed Redshift, which I may have, trying to make these adjustments. I hear it thinking. I can hear the fans spinning as it thinks and processes this. It's alright. Give it one last chance. Yeah, not responding. Kill this too. JS Displace, or Displacement, makes greebles for you on displacement maps. So you can come in here and let it do its thing. So you can just really easily make greebles for different stuff. Then we'll just do this one. I think this one's a bunch of noise. Yeah. And how many iterations you want, which is like how many pieces, how big you want them. So you can make them really small. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Come on. I think I killed this too. I think it's because I have the Brograph stream going on the other side and it's not liking that. I'm just gonna kill JS stream too. Billy, this always happens when you watch. It's like key that I have to start closing things down. There we go. What time are we at? Almost 10. All right. So let's see. Go back to what Billy was saying. So a 2x2 polygon test one would actually be 4. Yeah, 2 would be 8. Yeah. Is there anything else I was going to show? I think that was it. What was I going to tell you guys too before I roll out of here? So if you guys are in the Brograph Slack, or if you listen to the podcast, you probably have heard about Motion Mondays. And so every Monday we have a meeting at 10 a.m. Eastern time and talk about freelancing and whatever's going to be coming up in our weeks, and kind of like use it as semi-mentorship. We've been doing presentations lately, having people on. You've probably seen on Brograph that we had Somai on and talked about Oppo. We just had Raid Zero come on, and that video is going to be posting tomorrow about how to do like a production workflow. Monday, I'm doing one on doing PBR workflow, so physically based rendering through any engine. So I'm going to talk about Redshift, Cinema 40, or not Cinema 40, Cycles. I think I'm going to try and do Cycles. I haven't used Cycles in a long time, but I might try and do it. Octane and Arnold. I'm going to try and cover the main four. Cycles may not be in there if I have enough time or not. But once you learn that, you can pretty much use any render engine. So if you guys are interested in learning more stuff like that, come join us on the Brograph Slack and join us on Monday. That's going to be recorded too, I'm sure, so if you miss it, it'll be up next week. What else? Next week, I'm off because I'm doing every other week now. So next Thursday, I don't know if Matt or Dave or anyone's going to be streaming. They wanted to start alternating into Redshift as well, into Octane as well. So hopefully that will start up, but they've been really busy with projects, so I'm not sure. Anything else that I should tell you guys before I roll out of here? I don't think so. So if you guys have any questions, I'm going to hang around for about another minute or two, see if anything pops up, and then I'll get headed. If you guys want to follow me anywhere, you can find me as 531. Just do a quick search for the word 5 and numeral 31. Instagram, YouTube, of course, Twitter, pretty much anywhere. Sometimes I have an underscore in there just because I was a little late getting the name. You're welcome, Lance. Thanks for joining in. That's about it. So thanks for hanging out, and I'm sorry if your chat wasn't coming up. I don't know why it's only picking up some of them. I see everybody, I can see all the viewers, and I can see that it's connected to certain ones and working, so I'm not sure why only certain ones are. So yeah, with that said, thanks again for hanging out, and I'll talk to everybody soon. All right, guys. See ya.